Hello and welcome to part two of our series on promoting and accelerating healthy root growth in an organic method that is easily accessible to everybody. So today we're going to be showing you 5 different organic methods for producing and accelerating root growth. Usually when you seek out to accelerate root growth or promote root growth, you're going to be told to use synthetic hormones that you can purchase at the store. However, as we have covered in part 1, these hormones do have negative effects on animals and human beings, so we're going to bypass them altogether and stick to organic, naturally occurring methods. For this first method that we're going to discuss, we're going to use willow. You can use any type of willow, such as pussy willow, weeping willow, or curly willow for this process. The reason why willow is so great is that it contains auxin, which is a plant hormone, or a variety of plant hormones, as well as salicylic acid, which you might be familiar with in aspirin, which inhibits fungal and bacterial growth. It is a component of that medicine. So as you see here, we're going to take a bundle of branches or shoots and keep them in 1 liter of water for approximately 1 week. Now this is a bit more of a time-consuming method, understandably, so this is a bit of a longer run method. We do have alternatives that are a little bit more expeditious. So once you have the solution that has been soaking for 1 week, you're going to take a cheesecloth or any type of draining cloth and you're going to drain out the debris. You're then going to take the shoots that you have selected. As mentioned, these can be shoots from any type of plant or bush that you have, and you're going to place it in the solution and keep it in it for 24 hours. Once 24 hours have elapsed and your shoots have had time to soak in that auxin as well as that salicylic acid, you're going to transfer it to the solution we made in part 1 of this series, which involves permanganate or potassium permanganate, and you're going to keep it there until the roots start to grow. You're going to keep it on a windowsill and you're going to keep a watchful eye on it and your roots will start to develop. Now we're going to show you another method. Now this one is definitely more fast and easier to do if you are pressed for time. You're going to take a branch. Here I am working with a willow branch once again, and you're going to cut it into segments. And you're essentially going to steep these segments in hot water. This will allow for the release of the auxin plant hormone as well as the salicylic acid contained within the stem or branch of the willow tree that you are using. And it's going to once again infuse the water with those hormones and those elements, which are going to effectively promote and accelerate healthy root growth in your plant. So as you see here, I am segmenting it off. You want to have smaller segments. I'm working about a little bit over 1 inch or about 1 inch segment. Don't make the segments too large. The finer, the better. So go ahead and make these segments as you see me doing here. And once you have done this, you're going to cover it in hot water and you're going to steep it until the water cools. So as you see here, just go ahead and you're going to be producing about 200 to 300 grams of these segments overall. So as you see here, just go ahead and fill your container and then pour hot water over these segments. Steep these segments in the water until they enrich the water. I guess it's very similar to steeping tea. And then once that has been done, you're going to once again take your predetermined shoots, place them in the water, leave them in the water for 24 hours, and eventually once you're finished, transfer them into a container with the potassium permanganate solution. The third method is the use of an aloe plant. When you are using aloe, ensure that you try to use an older plant because that will mean that it is richer in auxin as well as ferment and enzymes, which is why we use aloe for this method. You're going to take a piece of your aloe plant and you're going to blend these pieces. As you see here, you can use a small blender or any blender you have at home, and you're going to go ahead and blend it. And this is going to produce about 2 tablespoons of aloe paste that you're then going to put into a container, cover it in water, and then you're going to soak your shoots in it. And as I have already mentioned, the water that you're using in these methods, you want to ensure that that water is filtered. You want to ensure that it is not processed with added chemicals and chlorine. So do be mindful to use the best quality water for this, or filtered water if you have access to that. So as you see here, I have this aloe paste that then I'm going to be covering in some filtered water. And I'm going to be setting my stems in this solution for about 24 hours, after which I'm going to transfer these stems into the potassium permanganate solution that we showed you in part 1. Once again, potassium permanganate you can find in drugstores, aquarium stores. It is classified as a medicine, so it should be readily accessible. So as you see here, you're going to place them in that solution and then transfer them 24 hours later, put them on a windowsill, and they will sprout the roots that you're seeking. The next method that we're going to discuss is the instant yeast or baking yeast method. Yeast also has auxin and enzymes in it for hormone production. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of yeast, mix it into warm water, as you see here, the way that you would if you were activating it ordinarily in a baking situation. And then you're going to take a little bit of sugar, which serves as a food source for the yeast. And you're going to stir it, and this will activate the production of enzymes as well as plant hormones that you're going to need in order to begin root production and accelerate root production. So then once again, you're going to take your segments and you're going to place them into the solution for 24 hours. And after that time has elapsed, do transfer them into the potassium permanganate solution. The final method that we're going to show you is raw honey. Now, be sure that you're using raw honey and not processed honey. You want to ensure that there is plenty of plant hormones and enzymes and everything that comes from the source, which is plants, that honey is made of. So as you see here, once again, I'm taking a little bit of honey, I'm stirring it into this warm water. And this is going to serve as a source of plant hormones and enzymes for this growth method. So do ensure that you're using raw honey for this purpose. So after you have completed the solution, you're going to take your selected segments, place them into the solution for 24 hours, and once that time has elapsed, you will then go ahead and transfer it into the permanent solution that we have showed you in part 1. So these have been the 5 methods for organic, toxic-free, easy and efficient root promoting and accelerating methods. Please leave any questions and comments below, and thank you so much for watching.